Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. A week went by after their mission and Miley and Naruto were just lazying around their new house. They both didn't have missions and both didn't want to go out. They sat in front of the TV with containers of ice. Yes, it was a hot day and both wore tank tops and shorts. As they enjoyed their time, they heard a knock on the door. Opening it, it revealed both Hyuga's sister. Miley, nay. We came over to hide. It's so hot and father wants us to train. It's not fair, pouted Hanabi. They all started to laugh. Well then come on in. We weren't really doing anything. It would be nice to have comp NY, right Naru? She looked at her beloved brother only to see him bright red in the face. Looking at Hinata, she saw the same. Man, can these two get any more obvious? She dragged the two girls inside and brought them to the living. They were already used to the house, as they came often, much to the envy of others who would sell their soul just to take a glimpse inside. It was designed in no way that they had ever seen. Some even tried to sneak inside the house when it was empty only to have a life-threatening experience of a lighting-filled barrier around the house that sent most to the ICU and others in a coma for a couple months, that they learned to not pry into the sadistic girls in her brother's life. Heck, even the council demanded entry, only to be shut down as she pulled out a law saying it was forbidden for such tactics to be used. Yes, Miley had memorized every law in Konoha. Anyways, as they decided to dim the lights and watch a movie, Miley motioned to Hanabi, understanding they left, not before whispering to her brother, have confidence and get it over with. The two left were in an awkward silence until Naruto finally broke it. Hinata, I need to tell you something. For a while, a really long while actually. I've seen you more than a friend and I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to saw. He was cut off with hands wrapping around him. He looked up and saw to the girl hugging him. He hugged her back and whispered the three words she longed to hear. The three words that he always wants to say. I love you. Just as those words were said, Miley and Hanabi had jumped out of their hiding places and hugged the newly formed couple. They were both happy for their siblings, but the happiest were the couple. End of flashback. Team 7 were called by their senseis. They were waiting for them at the usually training ground. Just then a yelling redhead and a tearing masked man came to them. I'm glad that you're all here. Now we called you all here because both Kakashi and I believe that you're ready for the upcoming Chunin exams. It will commence in 2 days. Here are your entrance papers. If you don't want to apply, it's up to you. You are now dismissed until the exams. Kushina finished. They took their pieces of paper and were going to walk off. Hey guys, why don't we go get something to eat and talk about the strategies that we're gonna use? You're all entering, right? Naruto asked. She wanted it to be an excuse to spend time with her brother. Sasuke looked at Naruto, who nodded his head, and then they followed her to barbecue. Sakura also followed, having somewhat lost her fangirl ways, but would still follow her Sasuke-kun. Seeing that their team was bonding, the two senseis looked happy. Hey, why don't we treat you guys as our last day as a student-teacher team? Kushina said as she followed with a tired Kakashi trailing along. Once they reached there, they saw the other rookie teams there eating together, so they decided to join. When the waitress came, she took their order and glared at Naruto, something that didn't go unnoticed by the people there. What's her problem? Why does she hate you so much? Asked a confused Kiba. The other wanted to know too, but the Junin knew, so were wondering what the boy would say to cover it up. Imagine their surprise when they heard him say, because these idiotic buffoons think that I'm the nine-tailed fox when instead I'm the Jinchuriki, a vessel the Hokage used to seal it into saved village. He said calmly. Why did you say it? It's a village secret, Asuma said. Naruto just looked at him and glared. If it's so much of a secret, Then why do they all know? Don't make me laugh. But then wouldn't that make you a hero or something? That's just plain ridiculous. Kiba said. The others had the same thoughts as well, which made the older Junin swell with pride. Pride that they weren't corrupted by the other villagers. They tried to comfort him but, I don't know your pity. And with that they stopped. As they were talking amongst themselves, Minato walked in and joined them. They felt honored that the Hokage sat with them and he congratulated them on their entrance to the Chunins. The waitress came back with Team 7 foods and not noticing the Hokage was about to throw Naruto's food at him, leaking out a killer intent he said. Think about throw that food and I'll make sure to show you what kind of demon I am. She gulped and handing his food, hurried away, much to the amusement to the others. Do they always do this? Kakashi asked softly. Anime and manga, only when I'm not with Miley, he said as he continued to eat his food. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, why are you letting the villagers treat your son like trash? I mean, he has to have told you at one point, right? Kurenai asked. She didn't understand how their beloved leader let this continue. He and his family looked away in shame. They continued to eat their food again and the lively chatting began again. Just then, Choji tried to take some of Naruto's food, but his hand was slapped away with a bit too much force. Don't take any of my food, and else you want to die. They just looked at him in surprise. They thought he was friends with Choji, but then maybe that wasn't the case. Hey, now no need for threats, Asuma began. It wasn't a threat. There's poison in my food and if he ate it then he would have died. I don't want the few people I respect dead. Then continue eating again. What? They all yelled in unison. His food was immediately sniffed by Kiba, who declared that there was indeed something disgusting that smelled in there. He looked at him wide-eyed as to how he ate it so casually. What do you mean there was poison in the food? How could you eat it? How are you still alive to begin with? Why didn't you say anything? Minato yelled. Naruto just sobbed, thinking that her brother was going to die any minute now. Kushina already went to the kitchen and there were unpleasant noises. The Junin and the rookies minus Sasuke and Hinata, since they now the story, were beyond shocked and looked at the boy with a bored expression. There were onlookers now and even people in the streets were pouring in. He frowned because now he couldn't eat in peace. You know, the only reason I came along was to help in making team combinations, not this. To answer your questions, 1. I ate because I was hungry, 2. I'm immune to poison so they could add as much as they could, and 3. I did tell. There are record files in the hospital that showed that it was extracted after I was in a coma for about 4 months. I didn't expect you to notice since when I told you I was slapped and told to go to my room for lying. Now if you excuse me, I have no business here anymore. He stood up, planted a kiss on Hinata's cheek and then left. Now everyone's attention was on the Hokage. They couldn't believe what they just heard. What the hell was up with the Hokage? Now everyone understood why they were distant. Then they heard, as he was on his way out, but blocked by the lot of villagers that poured into the diner. You see, even Hokage-sama is on our side. You demons should just die. Don't think the Hokage will save you. He never did. Yeah, and that girl isn't with you to protect. That's enough. If anyone calls my son a demon again, I will have them executed. Don't you people know that he's my son? Minato yelled. Anime and manga. He's Hokage-sama's son. Did you know that? No, I didn't. Forgive us, Naruto-sama. We didn't know you were Hokage-sama's son. Yes, please forgive us. We won't bother you again. Minato smirked, happy that the villagers weren't going to bother his son again. I don't need your pity. You stop them now when I don't need you to. Where were you all those other years? How pathetic. Naruto says to Minato, and then leaves. Kushina came in and noticed that Naruto wasn't there. Where did Naruto go? We have to give him an antidote for the poison. She shouted. Anime and manga. Naruto is immune to poison. Surprisingly, it was Hinata that spoke up. Kurunai, having seen the little act before, was happy for her student to be able to date her longtime crush. After you people neglected him, Miley found out about the poisoning, so she trained him in being immune. Her voice was cold and scary, something that no one expected from the Hyuga heiress. She stood up and saying goodbye to her team, went to go look for Naruto. You people make me sick. He's right, you know. Where were you when he needed you most? Shikamaru said, as he looked at the Hokage and his family straight on. Asuma couldn't believe that he was doing too troublesome. Excuse me. You have no right, Kushina began. Actually, I have every right to say this. Beside me, Choji, Hinata and Hanabi, we were all friends since we were young and we would always witness the villagers' glares. We couldn't do a thing, and just like him, we had no idea why they hated us. Hinata and Hanabi's father didn't want them near him, but their mother didn't mind, which is why they were still together. My parents and Choji's didn't mind us being friends, and when a mob started to form and saw it, they would bring him to our house. Shikamaru said coldly. Yeah, everything turned out better when Miley came. She would always protect him and beat up any of the villagers or shinobi that wanted to beat him. It's actually why no one touches him when she's around. We all know what kind of life he lived, and then when he found out that the Kyuubi was sealed, it all made sense. We also know how you guys treated him, that's why we don't like you guys. Really, Hokage-sama, you use your power as Hokage to have your son with the rest of your family, but you don't use it to save him. Let's go, Shikamaru. I just lost my appetite. Choji said as they both left. The rest of the people looked astonished at what they said. Asuma especially. Two of his students just belittled the Hokage and his family as if it was nothing and went away with it. Hokage-sama, I really apologize to what they both said. I'll teach them some manners later. He bowed. The Hokage was speechless. It was true that he did put Naruto on the same team as his wife and daughter so they could get closer to him, but he never did the same when he was younger. Every word those two said to him was the truth. Well, since I only came because of Naruto, I'll leave. And since everyone seems to be insulting the Hokage family, I guess I'll say something too. I don't quite know why you people are still alive, or even why this village is still standing, especially since he could have released it any time he wanted. I know I would have done, just to make these ungrateful idiots pay. Sasuke stood and left. After that, one by one they all left quietly, until it was only the Hokage and his family, all still in shock. 2 days later, Team 7 were walking to take the Chunin exams. Once they reached the building, they began to go up the stairs. When they reached the second floor, they saw a genjutsu in place and people wanting to get in the door, thinking it was the room. 3 of them started to go up the stairs to the third floor. Hey, where are you guys going? The room is right there. Naruto said. Seriously? I thought you were trained by the Hokage and his wife, and yet you can't tell that's a genjutsu. Sakura mocked her. She stopped being a fangirl after hearing Naruto's story and, like the rest of the rookies, hated her along with her family because of what they did to Naruto. Naruto just huffed and started to go up after them. When she reached the top, she was met with her mother and Kakashi. What took you so long? They asked, as the rest of her team was in front of them. She fell for the genjutsu downstairs. Sakura said, mockingly. The other two began being a bit closer to her since she matured, saying they liked her better now. Language resources. We couldn't just leave her there, since all team members have to participate. Sasuke said, earning a nod by Naruto. Naruto, however, couldn't believe that they were going to leave her. Anyways, Good luck on the exams, Kakashi said and then shushined away. Kushina looked at them. Yes, do your best. That's all that matters. She smiled at them and then left, not before looking at her son sadly. He wasn't looking at her at all. Once they were inside, they were met with different killing intents, but one from both Naruto and Sasuke made them tremble in fear. They walked in and sat down. As they did, the rest of the rookies came to them. Hinata gave him a kiss on the cheek and hugged him, in which he returned. They truly were happy together. He turned to Shikamaru and Choji. I wanted to thank you guys. I heard what you said to the Hokage and his family. Thanks. It means a lot. No prob. Naruto munch, it was the truth anyways. Choji said as he ate his pack of chips. It was troublesome, seeing the Hokage in a good mode all the time, thinking he could just mend things together. You're starting to sound like a sadist. I hope Miley isn't rubbing in on you. Hinata said. The four were really good friends, some could actually say like family. Naruto already heard what Sasuke said, and thanked him before. Exam is taken, they pass and now in front of the forest of death. Orochimaru comes to attack, but is defeated, but gets away. Sasuke doesn't have the curse seal. 5 days are up and now waiting to hear what the Hokage is to say. I want to congratulate all of you in passing the exams. But because there are too much of you, there will be preliminaries first. If there is anyone who would want to leave, please do so now. Much to their amusement, Miley, who was going to watch the fight, forced by the Hokage to watch the fight, raised her hand. Hokage-sama, I really don't want to be here, so can I leave? Minato facepalmed. Miley, you have to be here in place of you, father. We have an alliance, meaning that someone from the league has to be here, meaning you. I already told you this. I really don't want to be here. I already know who's going on and I only care if 6 people move on. The others could screw themselves. She whined. This earned her some jeers from the competitors, but the mixture of her glare, her showing them the finger and her killer intent, had them all silenced and sitting on the floor like good little babies. Just then, Ra's al Ghul came in and was welcomed with a punch. He looked up to see his daughter with a creepy sadistic smile. Dear father, would you kind as to tell me where the hell were you? Did you know I had to wake up and come here just because you weren't here yet? Calms down, so please humor me with what you have to say. Now don't get him wrong. Roz loves his daughter to bit, but sometimes he wishes that she wasn't so scary. He was sweating bullets, which could be seen by others, but quickly responded. I had some business to take care of. I'm really sorry. Hugs her. Don't be angry, okay? She pouted but agreed. She loved her father. Even though her mother died and he was busy, he still had time with her and took care of her, that alone she was happy. Moving on, they looked at the screen and saw the first match. Skipping to Naruto's match, which is last. Naruto versus Kiba. Everyone looked at the two. Naruto just casually jumped over the rail and onto the field. Kiba came down right after him. Are you ready to lose? I'm not holding back. Got that? Kiba said. He felt oddly confident. Let's just get this over with, Naruto said as he looked at the protractor. He nodded. Now begin, he said. Kiba began charging at Naruto, who suddenly disappeared. He was behind Kiba, and the next thing he knew, he was unconscious. Naruto had chopped the back of his neck in order to render him unconscious. People just looked shocked at him as he looked back at the protractor with the same bored expression he had at the beginning. Winner Naruto Nami. Anime and manga. It's Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki. He said in a cold tone. He forgot to change his last name. This left the members in his family heartbroken at what he said and others confused. He walked back to where his team was. You know, you could have given us a show. Sasuke said. Please, I'm not going to raise their hopes, then utterly humiliate them like you. Naruto said as he smirked. Sasuke chuckled as he remembered his match. He made it look like he was almost beaten, but that was only a genjutsu. Real him had beaten the sound ninja to a bloody pulp, scaring some of the Junin there. I guess. Besides that, I thought you changed your name legally. What's up with what he said? Oh, about that. I completely forgot. I'll do it at the end of the exams. He was. Naruto, I won't allow to change your name, you're still a part of our family. Kushina pleaded. That was the last thing that connected them together, and it seemed like he wanted it gone. Ni-san, Ka-san is right. Please don't. He didn't bother to even look at them and then tackled by Miley. Bro, that is hilarious. You should have seen the Hokage's face when you did that, it was like 0_0. Like what the hell just happened? They all laughed at that thought. Well, Sasuke and Sakura did. Naruto and their Junin instructors were furious, except Kakashi, who was off somewhere giggling like the pervert he is. But I have to say, I give most points to Sasuke when it comes to style. Even my dad was laughing. We already knew it was a genjutsu, so when we were laughing at the sound nin, the Hokage and the people around thought we were crazy or something. Oh, and you Sakura, did relatively well against a clan heiress. I was actually surprised when you forced her out of your mind. Thank you, Miley. I want to be a medical nin really. I thought about what you told me and you're right, I can't really find myself as a ninja. But why can't you just train me directly? She was extremely happy that she was praised. Because, as you know, I'm a sadistic crazy little bee asterisk 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 asterisk, so I want to see the face on Tsunade when her apprentice becomes a better nin than her. Besides, she will tell you the secret to her strength and that could benefit you a lot. I said this once, and I'll say this again, Konoha will bow to my students. MW ha ha ha. Everyone there just stared at her and wondered why she wasn't at the mental institute already. Now in 1 week's time, the main Chunin exams will begin. In that time, you should train and get ready. Congratulations to the 10 competitors that passed. You are all dismissed. Hokage said and they all decided to leave. One thing was on everyone's mind. Naruto was on his way to the Hokage's office. He was told by the Anbu that the Hokage required his presence. Honestly, he didn't know why he was being called into the office, but he didn't like being in his presence, so decided to finish it up real quick. Once he entered the office, he saw his family, along with Jiraiya and Tsunade. He looked at them with a bored expression and sighed. This was definitely going to be a long day. Hokage-sama, I was told you summoned me, he asked. Ah yes. As you know, the Chunin exams are in a week and all the remaining genin have teachers, and so it ha come to my attention that you don't. That's why I asked Jiraiya to help you in this week. Yagaki, you'll even be able to sign a contract with the Toads. He wanted to also repair his relationship with Naruto, so giving him a contract like his sister was the best way. Isn't that great, Sochi? You have a summoning. Kushina exclaimed. Ignoring all of them, he turned to Tsunade and smiled. She went to him and hugged him. It's nice to see you again, brat. I see you still have that cursed necklace. She smiled at him. Hey, I like this cursed necklace. I never take it off and it's nice to see you too, Tsunade-sama. The others just looked at them in shock. What was going on? Hey, you guys actually have a good relationship. Jiraiya said. Don't lump me in with you people. I might not be in this village most of the time, but I did give him that necklace as a birthday present. Unlike you people, I don't do favorism, she said proudly. Anyways, I don't want your help, Jiraiya-san, nor do I want your summoning. Tell me, why would I want a contract weaker than the one I already have? He said in monotone. This got a chuckle from Tsunade. The others were just wide-eyed at his refusal. Anime and manga. What do you mean? There are no creatures that are stronger than the toads except the OMG. Which of the two do you have? More importantly, when and who gave you the contract? He exclaimed. Now this got the others confused. What exactly was he talking about? You'll see what creature I have in the exams. And for who gave me, my sister did. She gave me during my first birthday party, when I was turned 6. If that is all, then can I please leave now? I want to go prepare. Ni-san, if I give you back the title of clan heir, would you come back to our family? Please. Naruto begged. All she wanted was her brother back. Why was the universe so unfair? Yeah, you'll become the heir again. I admit that it was a mistake on our side. We didn't train you, so there was no way you could have been strong. Please, we'll do anything for you to come back. Kushina pled, along with her husband. No, we already had this discussion before and I don't want to be clan heir, not anymore. And you points to Naruto. We made a deal that if I won during the academy exam then you'll leave me alone. Are you trying to tell me that you're a liar? Now if that is all I'll be leaving. Turns to Tsunade. If you're going to be staying here for a while, you're welcome to stay at my house. I'm on my way there now. Oh, I didn't know you live alone now. Is it a great place? I want my stay to be comfortable. She said jokingly. Actually, my sister and I live together, but she's going on a mission sometime today. I think you'll like her, and for the house, let's just say that it's the greatest house in the entire village, to the point that the council kept bothering her to show them in. We have plenty of room, he said as they walked towards the door. Wait, can't you at least give me a hint to who you're contracted with? Jiraiya pleaded. He just had to know. It was killing him inside. Serena Sheen, was all he said and then walked out the door. End of flashback. So since then, Tsunade and assistant Shizune were living with both Naruto and Miley and they hit it off immediately. They liked each other and were quite comfortable in each other's company. They were shocked when they first came to the house as it was the most beautiful thing they had ever seen, and felt happy that they were the few people to actually see it. He was originally going to be trained by his sis, but she had to go on an urgent mission. But she promised to be there for his match. So with the help of a few pointers from Kuruma, he was set, not like anyone was going to beat him anyways. He was happy. He was finally going to show all his strength, not enough to kill thought. He also managed to change his name to Uzumaki legally. The competitors were all in a secluded area. There were a total of 4 cages excluding Iwa. Welcome everyone to the Chunin exams. I would like to congratulate once again the genin that have passed the preliminaries and good luck. The Hokage said and then sat back down in the cage booth. Genma, the protractor, came into the arena and called out the first match. Neji Hyuga versus Hinata Hyuga. They both came into the arena and were in their stances. You should just give up, Hinata. You don't want to be humiliated. You're pathetic and weak, and should NT even be heiress. He mocked. Hiashi just smirked. He knew that Hinata was weak and completely agreed with Neji. He was going to make Hanabi heiress after she lost to Neji. His wife saw this and also smirked. Prove them wrong, Hinata. I know you can. Hanabi was just laughing. Her father just looked at her and was curious when she said, Neji is in big trouble. Anime and manga. Back in the arena, the protractor yelled, begin, and then backed away. Neji began to attack and Hinata went on the offensive, but hit the ground with one of his attacks. Protractor, end this match. I don't want to damage the precious Hyuga heiress, he said with venom. He definitely hated the main family. Hinata, someone called out from the audience. They turned to see and soon enough saw Miley sitting on the edge of the rail with a piece of cake. She looked at the girl in the arena and smiled. Did you forget? It the Chunin exams. Remember? With a face of realization of what she said, Hinata stood back up and the once timid and shy girl looked confident and had a smirk on her face. Neji, you disappoint me. You think being a prodigy everything goes your way. Well, let me tell you this. You might think that I'm praised and loved by my father, but I'm just a mere disgusting hyuga to him who doesn't deserve to live. She then disappeared out of sight and appeared right in front of him, shocking everyone to the point Hiashi even stood up, eyes widened. She then began her attack and completely defeated him. At the end of the match, there laid Neji. Although he was defeated, he wasn't all that badly injured. He looked up at her face and to his shock she looked at him with remorse. She kneeled down beside him and as she began healing him, she said, I know why you hate the main branch, and I know that if I told you that I'm sorry you won't accept it. But what I told you earlier is true. My father thinks I'm not fit to be clan heir and wants to give it to my younger sister. But we made a deal, a promise to one another, and I want you to also be a part of our plan. What are you talking about? You just beat me, so why wouldn't he see you fit? What is this plan? Shish. Not so loud. I don't like the way our clan dolls with things. A branch family, really? We're all hyuga, meaning we're all family, so why should one side of the family be treated as slaves and the others as royalty? We want to change that. I'm not strong enough right now to challenge my father. Looks at her if she is crazy, but when I am, I'm going to make him regret everything he did. Right now, I didn't really want to beat you, but for you to help, I needed a way to reach you. So please, will you help me? She looked at him with pleading eyes as she just finished healing him. He didn't know what to say. He was beyond happy. But something still bothered him. What about the seals? Do you know how to remove them? Not quite yet. I'm still in the process of learning, but I'm almost finished learning. So are you in? He nodded and then was taken away by the medical nin. Miley began cheering like a mad person, saying that the hyuga just got served. And once Hinata reached the secluded area of the competitors, she was met with stares of fear and respect and kiss from Naruto. The next match went underway. Shikamaru vs Tamari. Match was like anime. The next match, however, got some people on the edge of their seat. Mako, Sound, Naruto Uzumaki. They both went to the arena and took to their fighting stances. You ready to lose, little boy? 'Cause I'm going all the way. The Sound nin said. Yeah, whatever. Let's just start. He looked at the protractor. Right, and begin. He yelled and then stepped away. Cage box. The Hokage from the other villagers looked at the match that was about to begin. It looks like your son is about to start his battle, Hokage. I hope he gives us a nice show. The Cage said. I heard that he was able to take down his opponent in a single move during the preliminaries. You must have taught him well. The Mizukage, May, said. They then heard a slight chuckle, and there they saw the one and only Raz Al Ghul, sitting on the ledge. The cage's bodyguards took their positions, but were dismissed by the Hokage. Why are you here, Raz? Why, I came to see my son fight, of course. Now this got the other cages looking at him with confused looks. Your son? Who is he exactly? The Raikage asked. Why he's fighting right now, look. They look and still see the Hokage's son. But he's the Hokage's son. Nope. If you call a parent some who completely neglects their child for their other to the point that you let the idiotic villagers have their way with him, then yes, that is a respectable parent. They all looked at the Hokage with shocked eyes. I tried to apologize. I did, Minato started. Oh please. If my daughter didn't save him that night, you know very well what was going to happen. Forget this. Just pay attention to the match. It started. Back to the arena. Mako started to charge at Naruto with her fist, but he dodged it along with all the other attacks that she tried to hit him with. Anime and manga. Why don't you just stay still and die? And to everyone's shock, he summons a machine gun and points it right at him. This brings a shock of gasps towards the audience. They don't hate him anymore since he is the Hokage's son, since it's known that you can't dodge a bullet. Do you really think that I'm scared of your little toy? Don't push your luck. He looked at him with a lazy eye. Naruto, run away, she's going to kill you. Naruto, forfeit before it's too late. These were heard throughout the audience. But one voice stood above all. Oi, Naruto, show that sloppy pipsqueak who you are. This voice no doubtly belonged to Miley. Are you out of your mind? My son can't win against. Kushina began. Glares, do you have so little faith in your son? You people really do disgust me. She then turned back to the arena. Bang 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 bang. This what was heard throughout the area, and it went deathly silent, and then gasps were heard. There, standing in the middle of the arena, was Naruto, and in between his fingers were the 4 bullets that were shot. Everyone's eyes bugged out, except those who knew, and stared at him in disbelief. What are you? You just caught them. You're supposed to be dead. Mako yelled, but was visibly shaken. Oh, so you wanted to kill me. Why don't I show you how it's done? He disappeared from his sight and then appeared right in front of him. Do want to know the most simplest way to kill goes behind his back? It's to snap one's neck. Snap was then heard. There lied the sound nin, dead, with a twisted neck. Winner by death, Naruto Uzumaki. The protractor yelled. There were no cheers, no applause, no boos, just a deathly silence. Naruto just casually walked back up to where the other genin were and stood there. He got a little nod from his father, Roz, and a happy cheer from his sis. Hinata walked up to him and gave him a hug and congratulated him. Other than that, everyone just stared at him with fear. Miley was told by a couple of Anbu that the council had summoned her. She sighed, as she hated them with a passion. They would nag her on teaching and training the shinobi, but every time she would refuse. They just don't know when to give up, do they? When she arrived in front of the door, she sensed that they were waiting for her, so she made her dynamic entry, by kicking down the door and saying as she walked towards them. Okay, what do you bag of bones want right now? I don't know if you've realized, but the Chunin exams are in progress and I have my brother to watch, she said in an angry voice. The clan heads didn't take offense of this, since everyone in the room knew she was referring to the civilian council and the 2 advisors. Young lady, you will address us with respect. Oh, shut up already, would ya? Now tell me, what do you want? Time's money, ya know, or are ya gonna pay me? She asked with a smirk. Let's not get off track, now. We called you here of the progress of my son Naru, the Hokage began, but she abruptly cut him off with a glare. You lost the right of calling him that a long time ago, and if it's about him, then I guess Kakashi already told you that I trained him. Seriously, does he have to tell you everything? Of course. You should tell must everything as well. It is your duty as a civilian began. Are you trying to tell me that I have to tell you what kind of underwear I wear each morning? Man, no wonder this place is weird. They have a bunch of weirdos running it. This earned her a couple snickers. We're getting off topic here. We want to know why you trained him. Because he asked me to. We asked you to train our shinobi and you refused, but you trained the demon. The civilian was cut off with a blade at his throat. Say some piece of shit about my younger brother again, and I swear I'll put this sword right through your chest. Do we have any understanding? She said with venom, and he weakly nodded. She turned to the others and said, that goes for everyone else in here. Call him a demon brat again, and I will level this village to rubble and blood. She removed the blade from the council man and sat back down on her seat. Why are you defending him? Danzo spoke out. What do you mean? Be more specific. She narrowed her eyes at him. Everyone in this village hates him and yet you defend him. You aren't related to him by blood, but yet you call him your brother. Why? Wouldn't it be easier to just side with us and remove him? She looks at him and smirked evilly, which confuses everyone. Let's get something straight here, little boy, because the both of us know what's up your sleeve. He paled in shock. So yeah, let's not forget who the more superior one is, she said, sitting back down, gaining shocked looks from everyone present, including to guarding shinobi. She had just mocked the war hawk and he listened to her. They all had the same thought. The world is going to end. I believe that no one should feel lonely in life. This village has caused a big mistake. Calling him the demon brat. Why? Because he saved their lives. Because if it wasn't for him, the entire village would be down under. This pathetic for an excuse village is too blinded by their grief that they torment an innocent boy. A boy who was given the burden of hold a demon fox at bay in order to keep everyone safe. Let me tell you something, Danzo. Hatred is what releases the fox. It uses it to influence their Jinchuriki. Now tell me, leaving him at a near-death state by the villagers, only to be healed by the fox and then going home and you get the same treatment. Yet he doesn't know why people hate him. Why don't you put yourself in his shoes and imagine that torture? Honestly, wouldn't you want this village of pedophiles all dead? 'Cause I know I would want them. Pedophiles. You dare mock our village? Why not? You call him a demon brat, why can't I call you a pedophile? Besides, pedophiles are known for child abuse, and that's exactly what this village has done. The third Hokage would definitely be disappointed in all of you. I don't think he should have even saved this village, but what's done is done. Can we please go back on topic now? Sure. Shoot away. Okay, we get that you don't like this village, so that's why you refused to train them. She nods. But are there any other people that you trained, or promised to train? Shikaku asked. Yup. Besides Naruto, I trained Hinata Hyuga and Sasuke Uchiha. I promised Hanabi Hyuga that I would train her, and I'm about to start training Sakura Haruno in medical ninjutsu. That's all. Why you're going to train my daughter? But why? Well, I have to admit that she was really annoying, and her fangirling over Makoto's youngest puts legs on top of table, crossed, but after that, we were okay. I mean, she does have great chakra control, I just need to get her chakra reserves a bit bigger. Right now, they're really pitiful, really. Okay, is that all? I guess I'll take my leave. She stood up to leave but was stopped by Danzo. If you hate this village so much, then why are you still here? Or better yet, why not destroy it? Gasps were heard throughout the room with murmurs, but stopped when she said, 7 years. People look at one another confused. 7 years I held back my anger and want to destroy it, and I didn't because one person told me not to, she said as she began to walk out. Who? Choza asked. Naruto Uzumaki, your demon brat, told me not to. Even managed to hold back my father all these years. Honestly, he has too big a heart for such a disgusting place. They all looked down in shame. The same boy that they all hated had held back the scariest organization from bringing them to their knees, and yet they tortured him. Wait. One more question. Jiraiya asked. People looked at him for his sudden outburst. Really? Again? Last question. What do you want? Serena Shina. Who is she? She glared at him and sent out a killer intent. How do you know that name? What are you after? She said as she held him by the collar and lifted him in the air, all in a split second. Nothing. I swear. Just put me down. Puts him down. I asked Naruto if he wanted to sign the Toad contract and he said no, that he already had one. When I asked what animal, he didn't say, just the name as a hint. So do you know? Of course I do. I was the one who gave it to him. It was my most prized possession, along with my sword. As for who Serena Sheena is, she's my mother. And with that, she shushined out. End of flashback. So that's what happened. She said as she finished telling Naruto what happened. Hoa sis, you really hate them, don't ya? Crazy as hell. The next set of competitors were finally said, and now it was the match that many were waiting for. Naruto Namikaze vs Naruto Uzumaki. There were cheers and wild screams from the crowd. The children of the Hokage were going to fight and they knew it was going to be big. Kushina went white, and paled at the thought of two of her adorable children were going to fight. Naruto just looked at her brother, somewhat afraid. He saw this and didn't quite care, just jumped down to the arena, and she did the same. Alright then, the same rules apply as the previous matches. Now begin. The protractor yelled and then jumped away. Ni-san, get ready cuz I'm gonna break every single bone in your body and then bring you back home, she said as she took to her fighting stance, as he did the same but didn't say a word. They both plunged forward and the battle began. The audience looked in awe. Neither one of them were backing down, but those who knew Naruto knew he was just playing with her. Miley just sat there with her signature cake and happily ate it, without a care in the world, much to the annoyance to others. Don't you care about the battle? I thought that Naruto was your younger brother. Kakashi asked, as the rest of the Junins, clan heads and Kushina listened. Of course Kakashi, but he's just playing with her. This isn't a battle worth watching. Ha ha ha, you people haven't even seen 30% of his actual power, she said as she happily munched on. Just then they saw Naruto summoning a toad and that's when they thought it was over. Oh, how wrong they were. You can't possibly think he can win now. He doesn't have a contract last I knew. On the contrary, he does. I gave him my mother's contract. Returning to the match, Naruto just summoned a toad. Just give up, Ni-san. I don't want to hurt you. Again she was ignored and so she attacked, head on, but didn't see where her brother went. Where did he go? She thought. You know, you're quite persistent that it almost wants me to kill you. Do you really think that you could defeat me? You really are the arrogant and naive little girl I used to know, he said as his voice was projected everywhere in the arena, sending chills down everyone's spines. Well, almost everyone. Well, he did hate her a lot. I bet the calling of demon brat from the villagers was all her fault too, Miley stated. Excuse me, are you telling me that it was Naruto that started it? That's just absurd, Kushina yelled. You see, that's the thing. You guys were too busy doting over your precious daughter that you didn't notice that your son didn't have a lot of friends, save a few because she told them not to be friends with him. That's a lie, Naruto. Whoa, but she was cut off by Shikamaru. No, it's true. All eyes were on him. Naruto told everyone not to be friends with him if they wanted to be friends with hero of the village, so naturally, everyone listened. Choji, Hinata, and I didn't. Hinata, cuz she had a crush on him, me cuz I didn't want troublesome women tell me what to do in life, and Choji cuz he sticks with me, has a kind heart and saw the whole thing as an idiotic thing. Later on Hanabi joined after she took a liking to Miss Sadistic. Over there points to Miley who gives a grin and thumbs up, so that was our little circle. No one entered it and no one left. He yawned and closed his eyes. The parents of the said children beamed in pride for what their children did while the others looked away in shame. As Naruto tried to locate her brother, she was met with an unexpected kick, which sent her flying of the toad's back. Naruto was then attacked by the toad with a sword, only to take out his own and defeat it. Jiraiya stood up from his position near Minato as he too was shocked. Naruto had just defeated one of the most mightiest animals as if they were nothing. They heard a loud laugh and everyone in the cage box turned and looked at Roz, who had tears in his eyes. Man, you guys should have seen yourselves. It was hilarious, he said in between laws. Naruto along with the Junin and other genin were also shocked that Naruto was able to defeat a summoning. Well, now that there are no summonings, let's finish this on our own, Naruto said, grasping for the last straws of her pride and dignity. Although she loved her brother and wanted him back, she also wanted to win and show her strength to him. Just because your summoning left, don't think that I won't bring out my summoning, he smirked evilly. At this she visibly paled. He looked at the cage box, more directly at Jiraiya. You want to know my summoning? Watch closely. With that, everyone was at the edge of the seat wondering what else the son of their beloved leader had up his sleeve. Jiraiya was waiting in anticipation. He bit his thumb and did the hand seals. Summoning jutsu, he yelled, and then there was a puff of smoke. After the smoke cleared, the faces of everyone in the stadium paled and the blood in their bodies drained. Standing before them was a gigantic blue dragon that filled more than the entire stadium. There was totally silence until they heard uncontrollable laughter from the audience and the cage box from both daughter and father. They had waited for this day to come for so long, just wanting to know how the others' faces were. Naru, bro, that was hilarious. Miley yelled out to her younger sibling. Young Naruto, I believe you have summoned me for a reason. The dragon said. Ah yes, as you can see Shin, it's the Chunin exams and I'm in the middle of a battle. You up for a fight? You are rather much capable in handling this against such a puny weak human, my boy. I don't see why I should intervene, but if you want me to, then I shall burn the entire stadium. You could have also summoned Kuruma and give them a scare. Haha, how I would wish to see that. Yeah, but you see, I wanted to show you off in a way after someone insulted you. What? A human dares to insult me? I am the king of all dragons. My boy, tell me who this person is, I shall toast them alive. Looking at Jiraiya, the old man pleaded to not rat him out. Oh, how unfortunate. It's the white-haired man over there. He pointed at the said man. The dragon turned at the people at the cage box, who, if it were possible to get even paler, did. You insolent human. You dare mock me. You shall pay for such trickery, but because you are friends with the toads your life has been spared at the moment. Do it again and it shall be your last. Turns to the audience, and you other insolent humans. You dare make my dear friend cry and live a life of misery. You are lucky that he has such a kind heart, otherwise this village would be buried in ashes. Harm him again and you shall pay. Despite his pleads, looks at Miley. Hello there, my child. I hope you are doing well. She nods. That is good. If they bother you, just tell me. I shall make it that they will feel pain even in their death. Looks at the circle. Oh, I remember you little children. I hope you are all friends. No, enough with the chit-chat. Shall we finish the job, Naruto? I surrender. Please don't do anything, Naruto pleaded. She wanted to win, but if it meant death, then live to fight another day. Pathetic humans, and then he disappeared in smoke. Naruto just looked at her and said with disgust. You surrender. Is this what all the students of the Hokage are all this week? You haven't showed me anything, and if that was all you had, the Shin was right to call you a pathetic weakling. You, my very own sister, was the first person to call me a demon, and guess what? I planned on showing you what kind of demon I am. He towered over her with a sword in his hand, as she sat scared to move as she saw the sword descend on her, then she saw blood. Everyone was deathly silent as they saw the scene in front of them. Naruto looked at the blood running down his sword and cursed. At the last minute, Miley, with her inhuman demonic speed, had stopped the blade from hitting the shock-stricken girl with her bare hand and watched as her blood ran down the sword. He just looked at her and sealed his sword away. I wasn't going to do it, Yano. I know, but it was a close call. Come on, the match is over and you won. Let's go watch the other matches, okay? He nodded and looked at her bloody hand. He felt guilty. The hand that was so gentle towards him while the others always wants to harm him, and yet he had harmed it. Taking it into his own, he began healing it, getting gasp from the shinobi of, he knows medical ninjutsu. I'm sorry, he said looking down. It's alright, okay, it wasn't your fault. Cheer up, bro. She ruffled his hair. From the cage box they heard a yell. Naruto, you did well, Ra said. Arigato, too-san, he said grinning, get looks of confusion and shock from the others. Those three just began talking as if the others didn't even exist. League language, honestly though, you should have harmed her, even if it was a little. Roz said, same, hey, don't say such things. Do you want the council on our backs? Same, I too wanted to hurt her, even if she got nightmares of me would be good enough for me. But I guess I don't want the council knowing, huh? We're still here, you know, and we would like to start the next match. The protractor said. They said their sorries and walked off. After that, the entire village were afraid of the young boy, in fear of him getting revenge on them for what they did to him, especially because of the people and creatures he knew. Oh, they don't know how right they are. He was going to make them relive a nightmare, but not now. Soon. Very soon. It all went wrong so fast. The peaceful in unknown ways Chunin exams had gone downfall right after a genjutsu went into action. And then all hell went loose. Roz, not caring for the leaf and knowing his children were capable of holding their ground, left. The Oto and Suna Nin starting attacking, while the leaf shinobi defended. Naruto went against Gaara, and when the boy let Shikaku take over, it was then he decided to reveal his tail beast mode, frightening many who were there that night. At the end he was defeated and went back to Suna with his siblings. Martial arts films. Miley put aside her hatred for the Hokage and his wife, and helped in taking down the revived brother Hokages as she dealt with Orochimaru. The end result dealt with her killing the snake Pedo and the brothers being freed and sealed again. The battle had been won and now the rebuilding of the village started. We now see our lovable blonde and brunette walking to the most dreaded place known well for Miley, the council meeting. This is definitely going to be a very long and boring meeting. Miley exclaimed as they almost reached the room. Come on sis, we just answer some of the questions, otherwise tell them to get lost and then we leave. Besides, didn't you say that you had something important to discuss with them? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I hope Makoto is there. Then they entered the room. They were met with the clan heads that made up the Shinobi Council, the Civilian Council, and the Hokage. There were also others inside the room, that included Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kushina, Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Shikamaru and Makoto. They were all waiting for them both so that they could start the meeting. Okay, know that everyone is here, the meeting shall begin. Although the Chunin exams were interrupted by the invasion, there were a number of genin that have proven to be capable of becoming Chunin, so I shall call them out and give them the title of Chunin, the Hokage said. He then called out the names of every genin there and they all became Chunin, including Naruto, which confused people. But no one wanted to feel Kushina's wrath of denying her daughter the title, no one except Miley though. Are you trying to say that my daughter is weak? Sure, she lost, but she showed great skill as fighting. I mean, Shikamaru surrendered his fight too. Kushina yelled. Troublesome, Miley, don't drag me into this. The lazy Chunin said. Sure, he did surrender, but he knew when to retreat and showed great tactical skills. Brute force won't get you far in the shinobi world. All I see is favoritism. Besides, I wasn't talking to you, woman, so keep your mouth shut. Martial arts films. Don't talk to my wife like that. She was only saying what she thought. Minato said. She looked at him in disgust and said. Then put your wife on a leash. Gasps. What, did I say something wrong? You let her say what she wanted, why can't I? Enough of this, You never answer my question yet. Yes, Naruto did not win her match, but that was because Naruto summoned a creature that she didn't know. Oh, so you think that everything should be known about an opponent when facing them? That bullshit. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. All of this is just blunt out favoritism. And don't you know that deception is a shinobi's greatest weapon? You wouldn't get far if you keeping thinking like that. You're the Hokage. You can't play favorites to anyone. All while the Hokage and his wife were arguing with Miley, the others were just watching to their amusement. They too knew, well, the Shinobi Council and Danzo, that Naruto didn't deserve to be Chunin, and what Miley said was true, it was blunt favorites But they couldn't say a word. So they were grateful that she had so much courage to say her mind and show how spoiled their daughter was. They all saw Naruto in a new light after he had defeated Gaara in his Shikaku form. Anyways, your idiocy aside, why else did you call this meeting? I don't think I was gonna be made a Chunin. Well, we want you to train some of our shinobi, a councilman began. No. Since it has come to our attention the way you trained the three of them, so. I said no. It would prove beneficially. What the hell is wrong with you? I said no. She yelled, fed up with them. Young lady, there is no need to scream. The female advisor said. No need to scream. I said no so many times and you kept on going with your speech. Anyways, I said no before and it's still no. Honestly, what is wrong with this village? Sometimes I wish I could leave. Then what's stopping you? Are you crazy? Do you want me to leave my brother to these pack of wolves? Pulls Naruto into a hug. I don't think so. Anime and manga. Well, if there is nothing left then, Minato began. Wait. There is something else. Oh, and what is that? I want to show evidence and proof that someone was framed for a murder he didn't commit. And who is that? Looking at Makoto, who gave her a nod of approval, she said. Itachi Uchiha. Flashback. It was late at night and Miley was on her way to the graveyard in the Uchiha compound. She was going to visit the grave of her longtime friend Shisui Uchiha. He, along with Itachi, were the first people to accept her as friends when she first came to the village, and their friendship remained even after the time away from the village. They were put into Anbu and were the Hokage's favorite three-man squad, since they worked well together. This changed when he started giving her intelligence missions alone. After hearing what the council did to her friend, she along with Makoto started gathering information. Hey there Shisui. It's been a while, huh? I really don't know what to say. The council would probably hold a meeting tomorrow for the genin who turned Chunin. After they do that, I'm gonna put the drop on the whole Itachi killed his best friend thing, cause I know he didn't. Makoto and I have been digging around and all, and I've found out who really did it. I was right all along, ya know. It was the creepy mummy. Anyways, I miss you a lot. The village just isn't the same without my two best friends. Then she heard someone coming and was about to hide but knew whose chakra signature it belonged to. Hey there Itachi. I never knew you came here, she said as she still looked at the grave. Out of the shadows came out her best friend Itachi Uchiha, the only other person to accept her as her and not fear her due to her father. Can't I come see an old friend? He replied. He was somewhat shocked to see her there at this hour. I guess, but people are saying that you killed this friend for power. You didn't kill him now, did you? She questioned him. He just looked at her and just couldn't understand a couple things. Why? He asked. Now facing him, she asked. Why what? Why are you doing this for me? Don't you know it's easier to just forget it and leave it be? Everyone already hates me. Even my own family sees me as some power-hungry murder, but you still believe that I didn't do it. Why? Your life would have been much easier if you just left it alone. I'm not the only one that believes that you're innocent. He looks at her confused. That's right, your mother also believes that you're innocent, Itachi. Besides, we found evidence that you were innocent, so just trust us, okay? She looked at him and saw the worried look in his eyes. After a long silence, he said, "You could have gotten yourself hurt, or worse, they could have placed the blame of something you didn't do entirely on you. Don't you see that you're making yourself in danger? Why would you go so far for me? Because Itachi, you were my first and still best friend. You stood by me when everyone else feared me, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I would do anything for a friend." He didn't really want that answer and looked saddened by what she said. Half of him wanted to beat her up for being so oblivious of his feelings towards her, the other half just wanted to look at her and kiss her right there. So that's what he did. Grabbing her arm and pulling her close, he kissed her gentle, until she pulled away. Her face was bright red as she stared at his smirking face. Hugging her close as he whispered in her ear, "Anime and manga, thank you for believing in me. But I have to leave. Make sure no one else does what I did to you, until you clear my name, or else I'll wipe them off the surface of the earth." Then he kissed her one last time on her forehead before he dispersed into crows, leaving a very embarrassed and confused girl. She snapped out of it when she heard giggling coming from the bush and saw Makoto emerging with a smile on her face. "Yes, I get to have a daughter-in-law I approve of. Oh, I'm so happy for the two of you. So is it officially? How long were you together? Who confessed first?" She started asking a variety of questions, and all the poor girl do was stare. "What a minute. You knew?" she asked. "Of course I did, silly. I bet the entire village knew about my son's crush on you." "You didn't know?" she asked, surprised. Most girls would be happy to be with either one of her sons, and this girl didn't look too excited. "Am I that dumb? I wonder why I never knew," she thought aloud. "Anyways, Makoto-san ready for tomorrow?" "Yes, I am. It's time I get my son back and get him back for framing him." "You're right. Well, I guess I'll be heading back home and try to process everything that just happened. See you tomorrow," she said as she shushed home. Makoto smiled at the place the girl was standing. "I wonder when I'm going to be a grandmother," she thought happily as she walked back home. End of flashback. And please tell us, why would we want that traitor to come back? He killed a fellow clan member, a person he actually consider a brother, all except in blood. Feigaku said, "I can't believe you have so little faith in our son. He didn't kill Shisui and we have proof." Makoto said, "Then pray tell us who did." Tsune said, "Danzo," was the only word Miley said as she kept her glare at the man. The said man began to laugh a bit nervously. "And why would I do that? That's a grave accusation. Do you have anything to back it up, little girl? Well then, seeing that you're so willing to cooperate, would you be a dear and remove the bandages on your eye?" "What absurdity is this? Everyone knows that Danzo is injured," a councilman yelled. "Fine, then turns to the new Chunin asterisk Hinata, would you be a dear and use your Byakugan on him?" Protests were heard and ignored. As she did what her older sister figure asked her to do, she gasped, which made everyone wonder what had happened. "Turn your eyes off, girl. There are no keki genki allowed in the meeting rooms," Danzo yelled as he was losing his composure. "What do you see, Hinata?" her father asks curiously. She never looked at him though as she turned her attention back to Miley. "Is he not supposed to have an arm?" and I gets a nod. "Well, there seems to be chakra running through it, and it's similar to." "Similar to what, Hinata?" the Hokage asked. "Similar to the Sharingan, a lot of Sharingan." Gasps were heard and Danzo had enough. "Root, kill all of them here," he yelled. Just then, 20 Root members were jumping down but were stooped midway, hanging them in the air. Everyone there, except those who already knew it, were bewildered at the sight. They were snapped out of their trance when, "Do you honestly think that I wouldn't come prepared, Danzo?" They looked at the girl as Makoto stood behind her smirking, but they saw the girl with one hand in the air, her palm wide open. You really underestimated us. Do you really think such lousy tactics would make me separated from my son any more than you have? You sure got a lot of nerve, Danzo. She said with an intimidating voice. Say goodbye to your bodyguards. And with that, she closed her hand and the members started to cough up blood and die. Snap's fingers grab him. She says as two league members went behind him and hold him down. Miley, what is the meaning of this? Such things will not be tolerated. The female advisor said, yes, people who blame the murder they committed onto an innocent person is something not tolerated. Turning back to the league members and Danzo, remove his arm and the golden thing that he uses to hide his arm. Actually, Miley, I think'll enjoy doing that, Makoto said. Miley nodded and let her, with a grin on her mouth. Hokage-sama, you can't let them get away with this. They are violating a number of laws. Danzo yelled. Everyone turned to the Hokage for his decision. Sighing, he said, Miley is known for never telling a lie. She hasn't gone wrong on me now, so I'm willing to believe that what she is saying is true. If any indication, order your men. Walk route should have been disbanded, to kill us. Once Makoto was finished, they were more than shocked to see what this man was hiding. In his eye was a Sharingan and his arm was covered in more than 10 eyes. Fagyuka was more than enraged to see them. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Dear, remember the couple of Uchihas that had disappeared or had mysterious deaths? He nods, understanding well they were killed by Root, and he obtained their eyes. Even Shisui, but his story had a little twist. I think Miley would like to finish. But before so, points to 2 eyes, aren't those Shisui's eyes? Anime and manga, they are indeed. He had a unique ability which made his eye different. Well, allow me tell you what happened. Miley began as everyone was listening. This was no ordinary meeting. Usually the clan heads loved when the girl came to meetings because she would always put the civilian council in their place and it was funny to watch. But this was entirely new. Well, you see, Danzo had his men surrounding Shisui, and although badly outnumbered, he cut them down to less until less than half was left. But he was critically wounded, so he sent Itachi a secret distress signal. It was something the 3 of us usually carry when we go on mission together. I still don't know why he had it. Anyways, Itachi got the signal and went to help, but the time he arrived, Danzo had already taken his eyes. Right behind him were some Anbu who felt a disturbance and went to check it out. Of course, Danzo said that Itachi did this so he could have Shisui's eyes and showed them the empty sockets. They believed Danzo, I don't know why, since it was the most stupidest thing ever, and so Edik fled. At the end of the story, everyone felt betrayed by the man. What do you have to say for yourself, Danzo? The Hokage asked as he was visibly angered at what had happened. Having nothing left to do, he word truthfully. I did what was best for Konoha. Slap was heard throughout the room. They saw the person who slapped him with tears in her eyes was none other than Makoto. For the good of Konoha. Don't kid yourself. You killed members of my clan, of my family, and lied about my eldest to the point his name was dragged through the mud, and you call it for the good of Konoha. He was outside all alone for something he didn't do, and you're so proud of it. You're lucky you're not going to die yet, because I have something in store for you, she said between sobs. Hokage-sama, if I may, I have a suggestion on what to do. But first, I think you should send some Anbu to retrieve Itachi, don't you think? Miley said as she looked at the Hokage. He nodded and did just that. She went to Danzo and ripped out his arm, along with the Sharingan in his eye, and then sealed it within a scroll and gave it to Makoto. Danzo was taken away by the Anbu and the meeting was adjourned, but before anyone left, they stayed a bit to listen to the answer the Hokage asked Miley. Miley, what you did earlier, was that a Keki Genki? A part of it, yes. Why haven't you told me that you had a keki genki? Do you want to die? Is that a threat? No. It's just that if anyone finds out what my keki genki is, my father kills them immediately. Why is that? He asks suspiciously. Something about my past, okay. I don't like talking about it. Very well. But you have face your past, you know. 2 days passed in the Uchiha family along with the Hokage and his family. Naruto, Miley and a couple of Anbu were standing in front of the gates of Konoha waiting for Itachi to arrive. As they waited, some of the villagers passing by saw and joined in waiting when they found out the truth, and soon, almost the entire village was waiting for their arrival. A message was sent to the Hokage yesterday saying that they would arrive the next day at noon. As they continued to wait, they saw 4 people coming into view, which were the 3 Anbu and the awaiting person. Finally reaching the gate, Makoto ran and tackled her eldest in a hug, despite his protests, Mike to the amusement to the others. Itachi Uchiha, as Hokage of the Konoha, I would like to apologize for being wrongfully accused for murder. Yuhase my deepest apologizes. It's alright Hokage-sama. It was just a misunderstanding, that's all. He said, still holding onto his weeping mother. It's good to have you back, Ni-san. Sasuke said as he went to his brother, who smiled and poked his forehead, something that he always did. Ah, Itachi-sama is back. Please go out with me. I knew you were innocent. This were heard from the crowd of fangirls, all ages, and the rest of the villagers. Having enough, the Hokage told the Anbu to disperse the crowd and they all left. Naruto left saying he had a date with Hinata, and Feigaku left saying he had important business to attend to. The only ones left were Itachi, Makoto, Sasuke and Miley. You shouldn't have left, Yano. Miley started, as she made her way up to him. You could have at least told me and we could have done something. She hugs him and he hugs back as he smiles. Going back, he saw an evil glint in her eyes. Even if the Hokage didn't believe you, I could have easily given him many persuasions to not doubt you. Bonk. You idiot, you can't beat up the Hokage. Have you lost your mind in the little time I was gone? Itachi said after he hit her head. OWW. Why the hell do you always hit my head? Do you want me to get brain damage? She yelled. He just ignored her and walked away, secretly smiling. Hey, don't walk away from me. She walked after him, and when she caught up, he simple held her hand, smiled and continued. Itachi. HN. Grr. Don't, HN, me. I had to beat your brother up since he would use real words. Staring into the sky she continued, I also beat him up to get all that Uchiha pride out. Anyways, why are you holding my hand? I can walk, Yano. Did you forget what I told you that night? What Nio? You know, I just remembered something, see ya. She said as she shushined away. Does she honestly think that I'll let her go that easily? He sighed and then walked to his compound. All this while Sasuke and Makoto were watching from afar, as Makoto giggled and Sasuke was finally understanding what was going on. Ka-san. Does Ni-san like her? Yup. Your brother loved her since their children days. But she had to leave and then come back. I hope you're okay with it. Yeah. Miley is really nice and strong. But Ka-san, she's very scary sometimes too. The boy said, shivering at the torturous training he had to go through. His mother just laughed. But why does he like her? I know she isn't a fangirl, but does she like him too? Well, you see, Miley is a very bright girl, and seeing that she used to play with Itachi when they were younger, she became a daughter I never had, and I became a second mother for her, after her mother died at a young age. She does like your brother, but she doesn't know it. It's why she says that they're friends. But why? Didn't Ni-san already told her how he felt? He didn't think his brother was a coward. He looked confused when he saw his mother laughing really hard. Oh, he told her all right. But she thought he meant as a friend and said that she liked him too and then stared, naming other people she considered friends as well. You should have seen your brother's face. I don't believe I was him that embarrassed before. Anyways, you see, she using this excuse of being friends as a shield from any harm coming to her. Why, I don't know. Besides, if you want to know why he likes her, just ask him yourself, she said as they finally reached their compound. It's been a week since he was back and Itachi Uchiha was official pissed. Why, you asked? Well, despite the fangirls running towards him, the one person he loved was doing the opposite, running away and was nowhere to be found. Walking through the streets of Konoha, he spotted Naruto and Hinata, who he believed were on a date, and knowing Naruto was the closest person to Miley in the village, so he walked up to them and asked, "Hi there, Naruto, Hinata. How are you?" He smiled. "We're both fine, Itachi-san," Hinata answered. "Looking for Miley again, huh?" Naruto laughed. "Where the hell is she? Is she really avoiding me?" He scowled. "Haha, well, last time I saw her, she was heading to the Hokage Tower, saying she needed to ask him something. But what you did to her really shook her up, ya know," he said a bit seriously. They looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "Well, what I mean is that after that night you kissed her, she came back a complete mess, muttering things like, friends, and, can't like, and whatnot. Then she started asking me a bunch of weird questions the next day, like, is it normal for friends to kiss? It was really weird. All I know is that for whatever reason, something you have to ask her, she wanted you as a friend and built this mentality that you guys were only going to be friends." Pondering on what Naruto told him, he was brought out of his thoughts when Hinata asked, "We were summoned by the Hokage as well, do you want to come along? I believe she really is there. She keeps saying that she needed to ask the Hokage for permission." "Thank you. I guess I will come along." When they finally reached the Hokage office and opened the door, they were met with the faces of the Hokage and his family, Sasuke, Sakura, and both their mothers and Hinata's mother, as well as Miley. When Miley saw Naruto and Hinata, she smiled, but looking at who came with them, a scowl on their face, she frozen and then turned a dark color red, as she quickly looked away. "Well then, Miley, now that everyone is here, why don't you tell us what was so urgent?" the Hokage said in a calm tone. Composing herself, "Well, I guess I should get straight to the point. I want to talk my 4 students out of the village for 3 years to complete their training." There was silence and then, "What?" they all said. "Why would you need to do that? You were training them quite well inside the village." Hitomi Hyuga asked. "Well, you see, there's something that I want to look for. Something my brother and I believe existed and still does. If I leave now, then their training would be incomplete, and I don't want to start from scratch again. Besides, it'll be giving them real-life experiences of the world outside. That's why I wanted to ask for you permission to leave Hokage and wanted permission from both the parents and students," she finished. "I want to go," Sasuke started. "I know the training that you made me go through was hell, but in about 2 weeks of being a genin with your training, I easily became low chunin. If you think that leaving would help completing my training, then I'm in. Besides, you helped me, the least I could do is help you with your goal." Turns to mother, "Can I go, Ka-san?" Smiles. "Well, if it's you, Miley, then I have nothing to worry about. I see you like my daughter, so better keep both yourself out of harm's way," she said the ending bit a bit seriously. "Thank you, Makoto, I appreciate that. I've always seen you like a second mother," she said with a smile. Then Sakura spoke up. "I want to go too. Miley, you were the one who told me that I had great potential, that I wasn't weak, and you helped in becoming someone confident with who they are. I'll go with you, and when we come back in 3 years, I'll be the most badass medical nin around," she said as she pumped up her fist. Her mother just laughed. "I agree. Thank you for giving my daughter hope. You have my approval. She said, smiling calmly. Thank you. I promise I won't let you both down. Then it was Hinata's turn. Miley, you already know my answer. Of course I'll come. You're like an older sister to both me and Hanabi. I believe my daughter speaks for the both of us. You also brought confidence into my daughter, after my foolish husband branded her weak, and I trust you. You have my approval. Turning to Naruto. Why are you guys looking at me? The thing she's looking for is something we're both looking for. Beside, if you're not in the village, what exactly do you think I'll be doing? Nothing, of course. I'd probably die from boredom. He exclaimed as they all started to laugh. Turning to the Hokage to give permission. Well, they agreed, and honestly I don't mind, but do you mind telling me what you're looking for? He questioned. If I told you now and couldn't find it, then I'd look like a fool. I'll tell you about it. So, can we leave? She asked anxiously. All right, you may leave, but under one condition, he said, which stopped their celebrations. And what is that, Hokage? She questioned curiously. I want you to take my daughter with you and train her as well. Looking at the said girl, they saw a smug look on her face, to which they all scowled at. Damn spoiled brat. I'm sorry, Hokage, but I can't do that. She tried to be calm. Blinking, he asked. And why's that? There are a number of reasons of why I can't train her, but let me tell you the main ones. Firstly, she isn't my student, meaning that I would have to start from scratch. But you trained them from scratch. Kushina exclaimed. Yeah, but that's because they didn't have their family styles grinded into them when they were younger. What you taught her will always be her normal stance. It's something that I can't undo. Secondly, I don't like her, she doesn't like me, we both hate each other. I hate spoiled, upstruck brats. I had to beat him points at Sasuke up to get rid of all the Uchihas are superior, and you're all beneath me, crap. I was almost going to beat her points at Sakura for being such an annoying fangirl, if she didn't get out of it after my talk with her. Heck, I almost beat Hinata up for having such low esteem of herself. Sorry, but no can do, Hokage. Besides, why do you need me to train her when you could ask Jiraiya or you train her yourself? You've been doing that all her life anyways. She finished. No. They look at where the outburst and saw that it was from Naruto. I want you to train me. I demand that you do, or else I'll beat you up. She yelled. Everyone in the room burst into laughter at her. Kid, that girl is gonna get herself killed one of these days. Kuruma said as he roared in laughter. You sure got that right, Q. Naruto, calm down. You shouldn't go trying to charge into a fight, especially one that you'll lose in, Kushina said, as she tried to calm her daughter down, but only made it worse. Ka-san, you don't think I could beat her? How could you? Your mother is only telling you the truth, Naruto. If you don't want to die, then stand down. Minato said. He and his wife had about enough of her whining, and it was about a week before that they learned that their daughter was really rotten. Flashback. Naruto, come down here. We need to talk. Minato yelled from the living room, as his wife sat beside him. Running downstairs, she came down, thinking that she was going to get something. Oh, how wrong she was. Yes, to-san, Ka-san. She answered. Is what Naruto said during your match true? Kushina questioned. I don't know what you mean, she said, sweating bullets. You know exactly what we mean, young lady. Did you call your brother a demon? Yes or no? Minato asked sternly. Yes, but I didn't mean to really. He just got me angry, that's all. So you call him a demon and tell people not to be his friends? How is that justified? Your brother was beaten and hated by everyone of the villagers, and it's all because of you. What kind of daughter did I raise? Kushina wept. What do you have to say for yourself, young lady? I was sorry, okay. But he isn't coming back. He's only seeing that whore as a sister. No, she said as tears started to form in her eyes, but was cut off. Slap. How dare you use such vulgar language? I neglected my son because we wanted you to defend yourself, since he had the Kyuubi in him and yet he's the one that turned out well. I regret ever passing him over for such a foolish person. And yet you have the audacity to call names to the one person who could help us get our son back. You are no longer a Chunin. She was right. I was favoring you, even though you lost your match, but I thought that you might have had good leadership skills. I can see now that you don't having anything in becoming a Chunin. Minato said harshly as he walked away with his weeping wife. Naruto just stood there crying with angry and sadness. End of flashback. Anyways, it's alright, you may still leave. Your reasoning is understandable. Thank you for being honest. The Hokage said. It's alright, Hokage. Well then, if there is nothing else, I suggest we leave. When are you planning to leave? The Hokage asked. Tomorrow around. I really don't want to wake up early, but everyone be ready by 11 a.m. in front of the gates. Are there certain things we have to bring? Sakura asked. Well, some clothes and food would be alright. You don't have to worry about money or tents. I'm the leader, which means that it's my responsibility. Anything else? They shook their heads no and then were out the door. Itachi stood at the door, glaring at the girl, who when she saw him, reddened and then shushined away. Better luck next time, Itachi. Naruto said as they left the office. It was later that evening that Miley came back home and she saw her brother sitting on the couch watching a movie. Welcome back, Nei-chan. He called out. Thanks, she mumbled. So, when are you going to stop avoiding Itachi? He asked. She tried avoiding the subject, but he caught on. Miley, stop trying to change the topic and tell alright. Aren't I your brother? He asked innocently. Sighing, she finally gave in. So what exactly do you want to ask? She said as she took a sip of her hot chocolate. Do you like him? That nearly caused her to spit out her drink. Answer the question, Miles, yes or no? Naruto. Bro, he's the heir to his clan. A clan that literally hate me. When we were younger, I would always steal him away from training, wanting to play with him. Later on, when they found out who my dad was, they didn't want their heir to be stained by a demon's darkness, as they put it. Makoto was against them, and thought that he should enjoy his childhood, and since I was actually doing so, she defended me. Him being my friend was bad enough for his reputation, but... Miley, are you even listening to yourself? Naruto yelled, finally snapping, why the hell do you care about those things? He doesn't care. He's the one that loved you first. Not the other way around. I can't date him at all, okay? No matter he thinks, he will always be someone that people need to look up on, and if he's dating someone like me then... Slap. She looked up the one who slapped her eye wide. Naruto, with tears in his eyes, looked at her. Why do you think so lowly of yourself? Aren't you the one who told Hinata not to lose confidence in herself? Miley, you're kind, you're strong, you're beautiful, heck, you have everything a guy could ever want in a girl, and Itachi is the same. Wasn't he your first friend? Wasn't he the one who stood up for you? When he looked at you, he saw you for who you are. Why can't you see him for him and not as the heir of a clan or as a prodigy, but for himself? Can't you at least do that much? He said the last sentence a bit softer. Thinking back, she knew he was right, that what she was doing was selfish and wrong. So what should I do now? She sobbed. He looked at his sister and hugged her as she sat on the floor. He had never seen her this fragile and weak before. Just goes to show that even the strongest of people sometimes have moments of weaknesses. You are going to first answer my original question. Do you love him? Yes. Yes, I do love him. Don't make me say sappy things. Good. 'Cause now you're going to toughen up and go to him and apologize for avoiding him the past week. Then you're going to tell him how you feel, got it? He said with a bit of superiority in his voice. She looked at him and then blinked her eyes. Yeah, I think I'm going to sleep now, she said as she began to run towards her room, but was pulled by the back of her shirt. Miley, why don't you wanna go? He sighed. I'm afraid. Alright, what if he hates me? Or worse, what if it's a prank? Then I become. Miley, calm down, he said, shaking her. I think you're overthinking this. Just go tell him, and if he says no, then you have 3 years to forget it. You'll be 19 when we come back, and then you'll be too old to cry over a rejection. Can't I just leave a letter? If he doesn't hate me, then I guess he'll come after us and tell me so. I watched that in a movie once. It was so romantic. Then she started talking about for some time, before she was shooed by Naruto, telling her get started on her letter. When she was gone, he called out, I hope heard everything you need to. Just remember, if she finds out about this, we'll both be dead, he told a figure in the shadows. Emerging, he said, don't worry, Naruto, it was kind of sweet of her to think those things about me. I guess I'll have to wait for the letter. The now fully seen Itachi said. But that was a bit dramatic, was it really necessary to slap her? Whatever, she has to see that she isn't those things. Anyways, you better leave before she arrives. And with that he left. It was the next day and the people leaving on their journey were all in front of the gate along with their parents. The only people they were waiting for was Miley and Naruto. Where are they? I hope they're on their way, Sakura said. Knowing Miley, I bet she slept in, and threatened Naruto about something deadly. Hinata said as the others laughed. Another person not there was Itachi, and his family didn't see him all morning. Just then they saw 2 figures running towards them, and sure enough they saw it was the 2 they were waiting for. Sorry about that, but someone glares at Miley who looks away, decided that she wanted to sleep more and kill all who came in between her and her sleep. Naruto yelled, hey, you're the one who didn't wake me up properly. She shot back. I did, and then you threatened to. Actually, I won't say it. He looked away in shame. Anyways, everyone is here, right? Then let's go, she said. They all said their goodbyes and were out of the gate. After 5 minutes of walking, Miley's hand was suddenly stopped, making her turn around really fast, since she was so focused on the map, and came face to face with an angry Uchiha. Hello there, Miley, he said calmly, but the angry was visibly shown. Gulping in fear as she covered her face with the map. Hey there, Itachi. Ha ha, how's life? She said awkwardly. Really? Is that how you want to go on? He questioned. Sighing, she made a shadow clone and told the others to continue without her. When they were out of sight, she turned her attention to the person before her. Look, I know you're angry. Angry isn't the word, Miley. You avoided me for an entire week, and when you saw me, you ran away. Do you know how much that hurt? He looked her straight in the eye and said, do you hate me that much? He said in a saddened tone. No, I don't hate you, she answered too quickly and then shut her mouth. You what, Miley? He said. Knowing everything that happened last night, he wanted to make fun of her for a bit. So now you don't want to see my face? He said as she was avoiding looking him in the eye. Well, you see, she started to fidget on the place she was standing, cursing herself to be put in this position. All the while Itachi just wanted to laugh. I guess I know my answer, huh? Well, Sor, shut up, she yelled, startling him a bit. I don't hate you, damn it, I love you. There you see, I said, for heaven's sake. She yelled. But she was met with a laughing and smiling face. I knew it. It was a prank. Well, Congra. She was cut off as he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her in with a kiss, which she returned. After they parted, he looked at her and said, "I guess it's official this time, right?" She just pouted, reddened already, and nodded her head. "Well, I guess we have to catch up with the others," he said, holding her hand as he began to walk in the direction they walked off in. "Wait, you're coming. Don't you want me to?" he said, sounding a bit disappointed. "No, no, I don't mind at all. I was just asking." They finally reached the four children, and she dispelled her clone. Seeing the two older teens coming back, hand in hand, they were happy. "I guess you two are together now, huh? Congratulations," Sakura said as she hugged the girl. The other three did the same. "Ni-san, you coming with us?" "Yes, I am, little brother," he smiled at him. "Say, Miley, what exactly are we looking for anyways?" Sakura questioned. "We're off on adventure, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking for, drumroll please, the Sky Island," she yelled, punching the air. "You can't be serious, can you? Does that even exist?" Hinata asked. It certainly does. In fact, we found a map of the island." "Oh, was it that paper you found when we were coming back from our C-rank mission?" Sasuke asked. "Yup. And we're going to find it. But you guys are also going to do your training in the meantime. This is gonna be one great adventure," Sakura said as she punched the sky. "It sure is," Naruto smiled. "Alright, you guys, this is our training plan," Miley said the next day as they finished breakfast in the inn they slept in. "It'll take us about a month's time if we include training to reach Kiri, and I want you prepared by that time." "Why are we going to Kiri?" Sasuke asked. "Anime and manga. To help in the civil war. I know it might be brutal, but this is a real-life experience that could greatly benefit you all. Besides, we have another reason for going there." "Which is?" Naruto said, motioning her to continue. "Well, if we help in the civil war and defeat the current Mizukage, then we could negotiate to stay in their borders without being attacked. From what I could gather from the scrolls and map, the Sky Island is somewhere in that nation and we don't want people finding out what we are looking for." They nodded, it making sense, and then packed their things and took to the road. As they were walking, Miley led them into a cave. "Why are we going inside a cave?" Hinata asked. "There's a secret training ground that belongs to the League here. Let me just unlock it." She bit her thumb and splattered the blood on the wall. Then the rock moved and sure enough they came face to face with a training ground. "We'll be training here for about 2 weeks. Itachi, I don't know your clan's fighting style, so you could work with Sasuke on that and the Sharingan." He nodded and then she looked at Sasuke. "Sasuke, I know the Sharingan is an incredible asset to you, but I don't want you to rely on it. Make it like a last resort, alright?" He nodded and the two went to train. She then turned her attention to Naruto and Hinata. "Hinata, I want you and Naruto to work on medical ninjutsu. Naruto, that's your weak point and Hinata has a better understanding. If you get stuck, then come ask me for anything, alright, even if it's something you're not sure of." They nodded and began their training. Turning to Sakura now, she said, "Sakura, I trained you a lesser amount of time than the others, so I'll try bring you up to their level. I'll be teaching you medical ninjutsu and combat skills. As a medic, you are required to defend your patients or others that are in a life-threatening situation. They all put their trust in you, so you can't let them down, understood?" Then they began. Konoha 1 week later. Naruto Namikaze was sitting in her father's office along with her parents and godparents. "Naruto, do you know why you were called?" Minato asked. "No," she replied, and she honestly didn't know. "Well, Jiraiya here offered to take you on a training trip for the next 3 years. Yeah, kiddo, I'll teach you a lot more cool jutsus and can you make me stronger than that girl?" she said with venom. It was known to them that Naruto hated Miley with a passion, saying that she stole her brother from her. "No, I don't think any training would get anyone of us here stronger than her," Jiraiya said, shocking them all. Anime and manga. What do you mean? Dad is the Hokage, Mom is the best kunoichi, and you and Ba-chan are Sanin. Are you saying that she's stronger than all of you? Yes, it's true. Tsunade spoke up. That girl is someone you don't want to have as an enemy. While she was still in the house, she still lives there even if Miley and Naruto left. She told me that she was trained by her father from a young age. She was trained to kill, without a moment's hesitation, and seeing that she was training them, I think that those children will also be just like her. If so, then the Leaf will be one of the most feared villages that were ever seen. Turns to Naruto, I honestly don't see why you hate her so much. She's actually a sweet girl that's quite easy to talk to. Wow. Tsunade liking and a person and giving out compliments. What next? The end of the world. Jiraiya said as he got a punch from her as they all laughed. You're still living there, huh? You could live with us, ya know, it must be lonely there. Kushina spoke up. I have Shizune, besides why would I want to leave? My meals are always cooked, with whatever dish I want, and to say they're delicious is an understatement. The house is always clean, the garden watered, and the backyard is so refreshing. The house itself is amazing. Nope, sorry, I like where I'm staying. Besides, a house where only Shizune and I are allowed. Talk about loving privacy, she said, smirking. Anyways, do you want to go? Minato said. Yes, I'm going. We'll just see who gets stronger, me or one of her students. I'll make sure to beat them down so bad and humiliate her in front of everyone. She said with a fire burning in her eyes. Everyone's sweat dropped at this, but believed that she could be able to take one of the girl's students down, everyone except Tsunade. She is gonna have the surprise of a lifetime, she thought. 2 weeks later with the group. Alright, that's a wrap. We're heading out now, Miley said. Over the 2 weeks they each managed to improve quite well. Sasuke was trained by his brother, who was a known prodigy in the use of Sharingan. Naruto and Hinata spend their time learning and helping on another in medical ninjutsu and just enjoyed one another's company. But the greatest improvement was Sakura. The girl was now easily low Junin with her chakra reserves and high Chunin in combat. Her medical ninjutsu is what she had greatly improved in the most though. Where are we going now, Ne-chan? Naruto asked. We're going to help the Kiri rebels now. From what I could gather, their leader is a woman named Mei Terumi. I've heard of her, Itachi spoke up. She's willing to have anyone join them in the war. It's said that she'll more than likely be the new Mizukage after the war. Right, and I told her that we were gonna help her. She accepted and is waiting for us to come. Let's go. 2 weeks later they had finally reached the rebels' base. On their way they encountered bandits and slave dealers, saving a large amount of people. Hello, Miley Al-Ghul was it? The one who sent me the letter. A woman with urban red hair said. This gained her a lot of gasp, everyone knowing who Miles was. Yup, that's me. Mei Terumi, I presume. It's an honor to meet you. She said, extended, which Mei took. And I believe that these are the others that will help. I think we need to talk about our agreement a bit more. They went inside one of the larger tents and discussed their agreements, which were relatively simple in Mei's view. Same time Konoha. Anime and manga. Hello there, Makoto. Hitomi Hyuga greeted her longtime friend as she saw her in the market. Oh hey there, Hitomi. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. It's a bit lonely now since Hinata's departure. You know, I've always wanted to ask. How did you get Hiyashi to agree with letting her go for 3 years? I believe he thinks she's fit now to be the heiress after beating the prodigy and being promoted. Now that's a story, my dear friend, she said, laughing as she told he what had happened. Flashback 2 days after departure. Hitomi. Hiyashi was looking for his wife for an urgent matter. I'm right here, she called, her voice in the garden. I should have known she was going to be there. It was a known fact to every Hyuga and maybe a couple others that his wife loved to garden. It was the main reason that they had one in the first place. Hitomi. I keep hearing that Hinata left. Is that true? Oh, Hinata. Yes, she did leave to complete her training. She along with 3 other children left with Miley for about 3 years. She said, not looking up, as if it was the most normal thing to say. What? Why didn't you stop her? She's the heiress of the Hyuga clan. She has to be here. I'm going to go get her back. He said, but was stopped by his wife. No, you will not. And why is that? He looked at her as if she was crazy. Because Hinata grew to become a strong and confident woman. No thanks to you. She glared at him as he remembered his failure. She found someone that she could rely on, someone that would never give up on her, and someone that gave her confidence, a sense of accomplishment. Hinata will return in 3 years' time and you, Hiyashi Hyuga, will not send anyone to look for her or get her back. Do I make myself clear? She said in a serious and threatening tone. Now Hiyashi Hyuga was known as a proud and emotionless man, but when it came to his wife, he was as terrified as any other man was of their wife. So he just nodded weakly and walked away. End of flashback. Haha, Hiyashi can't do anything now. Makoto laughed. No, he can't. I can't wait to see their end results. Being trained by someone like Miley is certain to bring results. How did your husband take it? I don't believe I saw your eldest now that I think about it. Oh, Itachi went with them. He and Miley started dating. Squeal, I can't wait till I have grandkids. Her fried just chuckled. Well, I'm glad that they finally got together. I remember how he would always scare all the boys that came near him. I honest don't think he did it intentionally. I don't think so either. Anyways, Fagyuka was actually thrilled at the idea of her training Sasuke. Sasuke was never trained by him, so I saw the bit of improvement he had when she trained him for a couple of months before the exams. They continued talking about their children and other things but had one thing in their mind. When they come back, they'll be on a completely other level. 2 weeks later in Kiri. It's been a couple days since the defeat of Yagura, the corrupted Mizukage and three-tailed Jinchuriki, at the hands of Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tail. The people of Kiri were finally free and they were showing it by celebrating their newfound freedom. Our Konoha group were seen as heroes in the village hidden in the mist. They helped out greatly in the war, which, true to her word, gave them some real-life experience. Sasuke actually managed to gain his MS after witnessing the deaths of his fellow rebels, which he grew to respect. Well, you already know that. Oh, can't thank the 6 of you so much for your help in the war. We couldn't have won so fast without your help. She smiled. Thanks to the females on the group, there was a reduced number of casualties, due to their advanced medical skills. No problem, Mizukage-sama. We were glad to help. Miley said. You can call me May. Now, as much as I wish you to stay, I believe that you're going to leave. So as promised, you are allowed to roam around in the Water Nation's territory. Take this paper with you if you're stopped. But do you mind telling me what it is you're looking for? She had been curious at what it was exactly they were looking for since she wasn't told anything. I'm sorry, May, but until I make sure it's real, I can't tell you. But if it is, then I will, but you can't tell anyone. Heck, not even our Hokage knows. That seemed to convince her. Alright then, you are dismissed. Then they left the office and were heading to the gate until they saw a large group of people in front of it. Why are there people here? Sakura asked. I think they're here for us. Itachi said as he took Miley's hand, much to her embarrassment. It looks like they're seeing us off. Sasuke said as he looked at them. Wow, OS that kind. Naruto exclaimed. I think they're here specifically for you, Naruto. Hinata said as she held him close. Over the week, there were a bunch of girls after him, fangirls, and that was something she wasn't going to tolerate. Well, since you beat Yagura, I guess that makes sense. Miley said, still red in the face. HMPH, I could do that to you, no. Sasuke huffed. Sure you can. Sakura said as she rolled her eyes. Over the time they had spent together traveling and even back in the village when Miley started to train her, she stopped being a fangirl and would opt to just be a friend, much to the amusement of the others. Sasuke, though he wouldn't admit it, became terrified of the girl when she took up a love to poisons and started becoming aggressive towards him. Well, I guess this is it, she said once they left the village gates. Where are we going now? Hinata asked. Anime and manga. We, my dear student, are going to start looking for the Sky Island. Miley said enthusiastically. All right, Sky Island, here we come. Sakura said, punching the air. Isn't this island supposed to have a name? I don't think that it's just Sky Island, Itachi pointed out. Damn you for being such a smartass. Miley mumbled. Oh, but this smartass, don't you? He laughed and then kissed her. Anyways, yeah, it does have a name. It's called Skypia. Naruto answered. Well, it does have sky in it. Sasuke said. Let's just get moving along, this isn't getting us nowhere. Hinata said. Then they started to move towards their new destination. 3 years later. Konoha Council Room. The Konoha Council was gathered here today for an important meeting. Dear fellow council members, we are here today because we are on the brink of war. The new Gondime Hokage said, both Odo and Iwa have declared war on us. We might be outnumbered 2 to 1, but there is this new group of S-rank shinobi who could help us in our war. Are you suggesting that we ask for their help? Choza asked. Yes, I do. They have helped many nations for free, and even if they have no interest in the war, then we can pay them for their services. How do we contact them, Lady Tsunade, and how do you think we can trust them? Danzo asked the now known new Gondime. They're an SS rank group, in which the individuals are seen as S-rank shinobi. They will indeed help turn the tide in the war. Shikaku said. It seems logic that we ask for their help and in return give them a fee for their work. Shibi said. Alright then, I suggest that we go outside to the gate. They'll be arriving shortly. Tsunade said with a grin. Oh, how she was going to love their excursions. Now in front of the gate, the council members and some of the other villagers were present. Also there were Minato and his wife, Makoto, Hitomi and Asaki Haruno. Then they all saw 2 people coming into view. Coming closer, they saw that it was in fact Naruto and Jiraiya returning from her training trip. Seeing that everyone was there waiting for someone, Naruto immediately thought that it was her. Hey there everyone, I didn't know you guys were here to welcome me. She said excitedly. Sorry little girl, we aren't here for you. We're here to welcome a S-rank group in the bingo book. They have a flee on-site order. Hiyashi said harshly. This shocked the both of them. If it's a flee on-site order, then why are you all gathered here? She asked. Because we're going to ask them for their help in the war. Inoichi said. Harem, are you sure about this? They could be dangerous. Jiraiya said, already knowing that she was the new Hokage. Anime and manga. What Ba-chan? You're Hokage? Naruto exclaimed. Ignoring her, she answered. Oh, they're going to be loyal, alright. I bet that they would even live. Oh, here they are. Everyone's attention turned to the front of the gates again. There they saw 6 hooded that approached them. Upon reaching the gate they were asked. You're the SS rank group that was sent by me to help in our war, aren't you? We want to know if you accepted. Tsunade asked, grinning. Ah, Ba-chan, of course we'll help Konoha. One of them said. Oh come on. You gave us away. We could have at least taken a pay from them. One of the taller ones said. She's right, you know. Way to go, you big idiot. Says another. The audience just looks at their bickering and is wondering how such powerful shinobi could act like such children. Are they really going to save us? Tsunade-san, it seems that you know these people quite well, care to explain? Hiyashi said. Oh come on Hiyashi-san, you should know us too. Suddenly they removed their hoods and revealed themselves, much to the shock to some, or should I Satu-san? Hinata finished smiling. Hinata, was all Hiyashi could say. The two bickering were Sakura and Naruto, while the other two watching in the distance were the Uchiha brothers, with Miley just looking in amusement to the audience. Then there was silence as no one couldn't or just didn't know what to say. Finally, having enough of the staring contest, Miley broke it. So how's everyone been? "'Cause we're just fine," she exclaimed. "It's nice to see you brats again," Tsunade said as she gave Naruto a hug. "Nice to see you too, Ba-chan," he exclaimed, earning a bonk on the head. The mothers of the other children went to their returned children and hugged the dear life out of them.